Did you know that the most successful people in the world share one secret? And it has nothing to do with talent or intelligence. It's that they have given up on goals completely. They abandon them like broken tools. Because goals are fantasies. We tell ourselves to feel better in January, while systems are the cold, hard ground we walk on every day of our lives. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And most people are falling, gently and constantly, into a reality they never chose. I want to tell you about the year I broke. I had it all mapped out. The promotions, the perfect body, the serene mind. I chased these visions with a desperation that felt like love. But vision is a cruel lover. It kisses you in the dark and leaves you at dawn. Every morning I'd wake up with a new list, a new target, a new summit to reach. And every night I'd lie there, the same person, in the same room, with the same quiet shame. The gap between where I was and where I wanted to be wasn't just distance. It was a canyon, and I was screaming across it, hearing only my own echo. I thought my will was weak. I thought I was flawed, but the truth was simpler. I was building a house with no foundation, painting the walls before I had laid a single brick. I was obsessed with the picture on the box, while ignoring the instructions altogether. The suffering wasn't dramatic. It was the slow drip of a faucet in an empty house. It was the weight of 100 tiny surrenders, the skipped workout, the procrastinated project, the quiet agreement to be less than I knew I could be. I was in a silent war with myself, and I was losing, not in battles, but in the peace treaties I kept signing with my own laziness, my own fear. I was waiting for a version of myself to arrive who would finally have it together, not realizing that version was never coming. Because that person is a ghost. The only person that exists is the one who acts today. And I was acting small. Then, in the rubble of all those failed finishes, I made one change. Not a goal. A change. A single deliberate alteration to the pattern of my ordinary day. I stopped trying to write a novel and decided to become someone who writes. Just that. A shift in identity. So slight, it felt like a whisper. And from that whisper, a system was born. 30 minutes each morning, with the coffee, before the phone, before the world could interrupt. Not 3 hours, not 2,000 words. 30 minutes, 1 page. That was all. It felt insignificant, almost embarrassing. But it was mine. It was the one stone I could carry. I placed it carefully on the ground. And the next day, I placed another beside it. This one change was a seed planted in the dark. I didn't water it with motivation, which is a fickle rain. I watered it with ritual, which is a deep, underground spring. The patience it taught me wasn't about waiting. It was about showing up for the soil, day after day, regardless of the weather above. There were no sudden sprouts, no overnight blooms, just the slow, sure work of roots growing in directions I couldn't see. The rebirth wasn't a fiery phoenix moment. It was the gradual realization that I was no longer in the same ground. The system, that simple repeating 30 minutes, became the riverbank that slowly, irrevocably, directed the flow of my entire life. The book got written. The confidence grew. The other pieces began to align, not because I was chasing them, but because I had finally built a floor that could hold their weight. I had stopped falling. I had fallen, instead, to the level of my system, and I had built that system so well, it became a foundation. This is the quiet truth of transformation. It is not a leap. It is a settling. It is the daily, humble practice of becoming. Through action, the person you wish to be. Your goals are the destination you point to on a map, but your systems are the actual ship you build, plank by plank. In the harbor, the internal conflict ends when your action is no longer a choice, but a condition of your being. The long waiting becomes the fertile dark where everything real is born, and the shift is so subtle, you might only feel it in the stillness. A new solidity underfoot, a new rhythm in your chest. So if you are tired of the cycle of inspiration and exhaustion, hear this. Your liberation is in the mundane. Your power is in the pattern. Look at your life not as a mountain to climb, but as a room you are building. You need no grand blueprint today. You need only one change. One deliberate, repeatable, non-negotiable action that echoes the identity you crave. Be a reader and read 10 pages. Be an artist and sketch one thing. Be a person of peace and sit in silence for 5 minutes. Let that action be your anchor. Let it be so small that failure is impossible. Then repeat it, not until you reach a goal, but until it becomes who you are. The systems you cultivate in the quiet will become the life you experience in the noise. Keep going. Keep building. Let your one change be the gentle, relentless force that shapes your world, stone by stone, until you look up and find you are already home. The silent architecture of success.